This is a weird matchup, but let's go ahead and get into it. Lightsong from Warbreaker versus Aram from the Wheel of Time. One, a demigod, the other, a whiny kid. Cool. The 7 categories, the third time I've said it tonight. Let's see if I can do it with no mistakes. First try: origin, development, role, interest for the reader, relationships, who would win in a fight, and which one would do better in the other's world. I think I got it. Jumping straight into it. Origin. These have been fast fights because all of them have been weird, and this one's not going to be different. Their origins are, again, very different, though they're both modern fantasy origins, so there's some similarities in terms of like inner turmoil and things like that. But in reality, the better origin here is pretty clear, but let's go ahead and jump into them. Aram was a member of a pacifist group that refused to have any violence. Some horrible things happened to that group, as obviously they would, and Aram decided, nah, screw that, I'm gonna pick up a sword. So he picked up a sword, and Paranebara, one of the main trio from the Wheel of Time, was like, I got you, and started helping him learn the sword, not training him directly, but getting people who know how to use a sword to train him. That's pretty much his origin in a nutshell. Lightsong, on the other hand, was an accountant. Came back as a god, which that's real nice for him, and he then was a god of like bravery and stuff. And as a god, he started investigating things and figuring out he had quite a knack for it. And that's pretty much his origin, how he gets his start. This is actually a point I'm surprisingly going to give to Aram. I think the only reason Aram is very interesting as a character is because of his origin, and I think this actually works for him here, so he's going to take the point. Next up, we have development. Development for these two is staggeringly different because Aram is slowly becoming corrupted by the prophet, while Lightsong is like figuring out who he was and kind of like happy about it, like,
oh cool, I did this, that's nice.
They're shockingly different developments. I think Amaram's was kind of jarring how quickly it happened and how much it just was all of a sudden Amaram's like, fuck you, Perrin. And I think for many readers, unless you like really reread the series a lot, it's not really foreshadowed well enough to feel justified when it happens. That's just my opinion. Meanwhile, Lightsong's development as he kind of goes back and forth is really an enjoyable part of the series, and I like how he figures out what he used to be good at and who he used to be. So this point right here goes to Lightsong. Now you have role they play in the world they are in. A kid who gets killed kind of offhandedly, it's not super important when it happens, and never really mentioned again, versus a god, or a demigod. I forget how they're classified, but I think the winner's pretty clear there. But let's go a little deeper. Amaram's role is kind of just to serve as a kind of jarring emotional event for Perrin, his betrayal. It's all it's really meant to be, is kind of this, oh no, Perrin has to kill this kid, but it wasn't handled great, and it doesn't seem to affect Perrin that much, to be honest, which I really thought was strange. Like when it happened, I thought it was gonna have this huge emotional impact on Perrin, but afterwards he's just kind of like, too bad, and moves on. And it's not really something that weighs on him frequently in any really visceral way for us as the reader. Meanwhile, Lightsong plays a really key role, being the guardian of this thing and being an investigator and a god all around. I'd say, one, its execution is really nice. It plays really well into his character, and of course has a greater overall impact on the world he's in. So yeah, Lightsong pretty handily takes this point. Now we have interest for the reader. Who's more interesting? Again, pretty clear. Amaram's fine as a character, don't get me wrong. I don't hate him overall. He's just out of the kid character range in terms of behavior for me, so he's not quite there. But no, I never found him particularly interesting. Pretty much everything he did, I was like, that's nice. Until he betrayed Perrin, and it was like, oh, okay. Nothing had much interest for me with him, except for his origin. That was really interesting. His origin kicked ass, but beyond that, not much here. Right, when you talk about Lightsong. Lightsong's interest really comes from his personality, and yeah, his role too, but his personality is fantastic. He's one of the funniest characters Brandon Sanderson's ever put to page in terms of just how he treats his like own divinity and all this stuff. It's really neat for him. It's cool to see someone who's just kind of so counter the culture he's in, but not like a punk way, more in just like a good way. So yeah, I'm gonna give interest to Lightsong wholeheartedly. Relationships. God, neither of these guys have great relationships. I think I'd go with Lightsong by a little bit. I mean, Aram has a fine relationship with Perrin, but mainly he just kind of broods around Perrin. He's like, oh, I'm so good with my sword. That's his character. And I think he's fine relationship-wise, and his kind of obsession with Fail that slowly forms is there as well, but it's never really delved into super in-depth. He just kind of makes comments, and we as the reader can like clearly see where he's like at mentally occasionally, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, and I think Lightsong's relationships were good, so that beats out the weird things that Aram does as relationships that I just never really enjoyed. Aram, if he was executed better overall as a character, would have been far better, but he just never got the energy from the author that could have turned him into something way better than he was. And I don't blame the authors here. There's so much happening in the Wheel of Time. You physically do not have enough pages to develop all the characters the way they need to be done. But yeah, Aram fell onto the list of characters that just never really were fleshed out that well. Now we have who would win in a fight. God, could the Warbreaker gods be killed with a sword? Because he doesn't have much fighting experience, but like if Aram hacked at him, it doesn't matter. It's literally, this point does not have any effect on this outcome of the fight, because it's impossible for Aram to win at this point. But I'm going to go ahead and say Lightsong would probably be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and give Lightsong the fight point with an asterisk that I don't care enough about this one to do the research to know if that's correct. So feel free to correct me in the comments, but this point just it's a wash. It doesn't matter. Now we have who would do better in the other's world. I have a feeling Aram has some mental issues that just because he changes worlds are not going to go away, and he would eventually just get killed by someone in the Warbreaker world, probably get in a fight somewhere where he's getting way too aggressive, way too fast, which he does, and he'd be killed. That's my running theory there. He's not emotionally stable. Meanwhile, Lightsong would be a male magical guy in the Wheel of Time, and he can't really hide his magicness. It's just like there. Maybe he'd be held as like an entity that's not human. That could work out for him. Regardless, I think Lightsong would do better in the Wheel of Time overall, probably. Some people might think he's like the dragon because he's like so. Yeah, Lightsong takes the tie point. I hope you guys enjoyed this video that is like the least invested I've ever been in a fight. Not because it's like bad picks or anything. They're just not characters that I'm super invested in. I like Lightsong as a character, but he's not like the most interesting guy on the planet. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you've not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to support the channel and what I do here. Let me know what you thought of the fight, what I should do next, what I should read next. I'm currently done with my book I just read. So this shirt keeps making it look like I don't have it buttoned. I do. And have a good one, y'all. Peace.